So is there any questions, Mike, now that we've covered geopolitical,
Yeah.
like the Australian news?
We do have many questions going back a couple of months now that we can
Ooh,
kind of tackle
that's
here.
exciting.
Yeah, we'll start from the most recent. New Leaf Ottawa just messaged
That
us asking,
doesn't seem, that seems kind of like cheating. Shouldn't we start from the furthest back?
should we?
I don't. Whatever. This is
No,
like
I'm starting from the most recent because the furthest back is a lot of questions as and a lot of different topics.
kind
So New Leaf Ottawa
of
says,
ominous.
can people who produce landscape education videos be considered only scapers?
What does that mean?
Like OnlyFans, but
Yes.
only scapers.
Oh, I don't know. See.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You could join. Like you could join. I could. I have an OnlyFans account. I do. There's a Paper King OnlyFans,
I believe it.
but you don't. Like you could be a chef on OnlyFans and only reveal recipes to people who are paying only. Like OnlyFans is not just for naked. Well, I mean, I bet that 99% of the traffic is nude women or sex shit, but like I could start a Paper King account and say, if you go join my OnlyFans and pay $10 a month, you get access to all of my videos of like, Mike could do that Mike has lots of educational videos.
They actually tried to stop all of that different content, and there was a huge uproar about that. They tried to ban it.
OnlyFans tried to ban.
They wanted to clean up their image.
Yeah.
What kind of content were they trying to ban?
The R-rated content.
The naughty stuff.
Okay. So that because I thought the initial premise of it was like famous chefs and stuff would only share recipes on their OnlyFans account, or like
that's what they wanted it to be. Yeah.
But that's not what it is.
Well, that's not what the primary focus is of the actual users, right?
So I think that if you make your own educational videos, you could have a landscape. What did we say? Only landscaper account?
Only scapers.
Only scapers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Chad, any comments on that?
Yeah, no? I don't know. If that's how you want to make your money, great. Why not? What does it hurt me? I mean, it's any way to generate revenue is fine by me.
All right, here's an interesting one. As we talk about our previous history employment, question for you guys. Have you ever thought in your career / businesses to go back as an employee for a business other than yours if the salary and money was similar to your situation? Asking for a friend. Thanks, guys.
All the time. Every time I have a bad day. Maybe I should exit. Maybe this is my exit plan. I could pick up X number of site foreman jobs or civil jobs or something like that. I don't think it would be too hard to find a job in and around my field if I were ready to jump ship.
Does it only take one bad day for that to happen, or is it like multiple in a row?
I think about beginning of last year, maybe year before, I strongly considered just jumping ship on this whole thing.
Wow.
I was more stressed than I am now. Yeah, I'm just like, sell the property, sell everything.
What changed that? How did you get past that?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a baby. Get back to work. I can do this another couple of years.
Go hard.
Yeah, go hard.
So I did that. I've done everything. When my life went sideways during my first business, the business didn't go sideways, but my life did. I went back and was the operations manager, ran that other company for like 10 years before I left to go to the other company, which I worked at, and then left and start Paper King. So, I mean, I did that. I went back, and I think I did it because at that time in my life, I needed a job where I could get a mortgage. Owning your own business back then, there was no fucking way you were getting a mortgage. I don't think I'm particularly great at running a business now. I was really not good at it back then. So I think that I did it once. It was good. It was okay. It helped settle my life down, put put my kid in a good place, put my family in a good place, got a house, worked at it for 10 years. Like, it was good. I think it was a practical decision at the time. I think that because of the way I made that decision, and it was kind of a forced decision, that I guess that left me with a lot of questions about how come I always have to have these like super deep fucked up things. Like it left me with a lot of questions about failure, and if I failed as a person, or I failed as a business, or when I quit and went back to work for someone. And because I'm usually not that kind of person. Like, I usually I'm like going down with the ship kind of person. And I remember when all that shit was going on in my life, I was like, there was a day where I'd wake up and I'd be like, you know what? I know I'm going to be unsuccessful running this business when my life is in total turmoil, because I don't think I was ultra successful at running it when my life wasn't in total turmoil. And so I don't think that's going to make the business better. But I remember a couple of days waking up and like, fuck it. I'm going to run it till there's no fucking money left. No one will lend me a penny. I'm going to run this bitch right into the ground. I'm going down with the ship, and I'm going to try my hardest to do it all. And if I don't make it, at least I can say the captain went down with the ship.
But did you cry asking for more money?
No. I did not cry asking for, because in the end, I decided that the decision to go down with the ship was what would have been best for Mike. So that when he moved forward from it, he could say, I tried my hardest. I did everything I could. It still didn't work. I ended up sinking and tanking. And that would have been what was best for Mike. But at the time, there was only Mike and Paisley. So what was best for Paisley was that Mike shut his business down, got a real job, fucking stabilized her life, and got a house. That's what was best for Paisley. So that's what Mike did. He did not go down with the ship. He did what was best for her. And in the end, what was best for her was the same thing that was best for him. So that's how that
saved you.
Oh God, yeah. For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
I would have fucking destroyed everything. Fucking struggling to keep that. Like, the business was profitable. Like, that's how I saved all I did was take my 10 most profitable jobs and do them all at once, and then walk. And then, we split the money, my partner and we split the money, and he went his way and I went mine. And I went back I can remember the first day, because when I went back to there, I was like the boss when I left. And then when I came back, I said, I don't have that in me right now to run this whole shit. I'm going to be a laborer. And I can tell you, it was at the corner of Brock Street and Highway 2. And it was one of the absolute worst fucking days of my life. I showed up and we were, for some reason, lifting up pavers and skidding them. And I was on my hands and knees scraping and cleaning pavers. Well, some like 17-year-old kid was like giving me a hard time about how fast I was working. And I was looking going, bro, you are catching me on my worst day of my whole life, on my worst moment. But this day will pass and another day will come, and I will rise and I will force feed this paver down your fucking throat. But today is not that fucking day, motherfucker.
Where's that kid today?
He's got an academy.
He's a good guy. He was a good guy. He's doing sign for one of the excavating companies. I drove by him today. He's a good kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's a man, but back then he was a good kid. He was catching me on the.
That's not Stevie, is it?
What?
That's not Stevie, is it?
No, it's not Stevie. Stevie shaking the fence. I think that was after. I don't know. I think that was after I came back. He shook the fence. Maybe it was before I left. I don't remember. No, it was definitely after he shook the fence. Yeah, it was definitely. No, it was. Anyways, I don't remember when he shook the fence. He shook the fuck out of it. Shake the fence. So that's
I don't like that fence. Like the temporary fence?
the orange construction fence or the
Oh,
those-
like the panels? I'm not
this
tall enough
this
to fiddle with the panels. Like I get
oh
frustrated. I don't have enough leverage to pull the staple out of the top. And then
yeah.
so I let the dogs do the barking and they deal with the fucking fence.
I'm not a I well I'm not a fan of it because that foot always sticks out into the public.
Hmm.
I always feel like someone's gonna trip over that shit and then sue us. I don't know. It's,
Even safety isn't always safe.
even safety isn't that. So, Mike, what do you think of that question?
What was the question?
Well, that was the question. Like, what would you go back to your old employer or whatever?
Oh, would I? No, I would never go back to my old employer. No,
Well, that wasn't that the question.
I
Like,
can't remember. I deleted it already.
was
No, it was like, would
going
you
to going
quit?
to
Not your necessarily your old employer, but would you
Oh,
trade
would
it
I
all
take on
in
like a
and
salary
go?
job?
Yeah,
Yeah.
salary or whatever.
Nothing's out of the range of possibility. But I do enjoy a lot what I do right now. So it would take a lot, and I don't think the market would be able to handle what it would take, I guess I could say. Because I enjoy too much what I'm doing right now, but who knows what happens in the future. If I worked for somebody though, like that would be tough for me personally.
What's the number that puts you in somebody else's shirt?
It would be have to be mid six figures.
Mid six figure, like
Yeah.
that
Like I
much.
said, like that's what it would take. I'm not saying that's realistic, and that's why I said the
I
market would
don't think
not be
that's
able to.
unrealistic.
You don't think
Like
so?
mid,
No.
like $500,000
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying like $150,000.
No, no, no.
Oh,
See, that's completely unrealistic.
That is
I didn't.
unrealistic.
But that's just where I am right now. Like that would be the number because
Do
I
you
enjoy too
think
much what I'm doing right now.
is there a landscaper on Earth on salary who doesn't have shares that makes $500,000?
No, but I'm also considering everything that I'm doing though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be me just landscaping, it'd be doing like what I'm doing right now,
Yeah.
just transferred somewhere else somehow. Which that position does not exist as far as I know either. So
I I know this much because when I worked at Ridge Lake, I was sort of like like I had a sort of autonomous rule over everything. No one was really asking me any questions, and I kind of just did whatever I wanted, and I went where I wanted to go, and I did the things that I thought were important, and the owner of the business trusted that I was just moving the business forward and treating it like I would treat my own business. And obviously, I feel like we were very, very successful at that business. So there wasn't a lot of cages for him to rattle when he was making shit fucking gobs of money off me. So why would he rattle that cage, right? But when I went to Permacon, I remember being in the yard one day at like 6 in the morning, and the general manager was there, and he came wandering over, and I was loading some samples into my truck because I had to get them to someone's site by 7:30 in the morning or something. And he said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I turned around because I was like literally just going to punch the guy right in the face. Like, I mean, just full cock this motherfucker right. And I was like, who the fuck are you to ask me what the fuck I'm doing, you stupid fucking piece of shit? Fucking ask me what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm doing something to move the business forward. Think I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and drive all the way to fucking Milton for the good of my fucking health, you stupid fucking asshole. And as I turned around to pop this guy right in the face, and I looked at him and I went, oh, it's actually his job to ask me what I'm doing. That's what he's employed to do at this huge fucking corporation. And that's when I knew I probably had no future there. Because when I started and I took out my first crew by myself, there was no cell phones, no pagers, nothing. So you just went out there and you were just in charge. No one asked you where you were, what you were doing. Very rarely did anyone come by to check on you. which I'm positive there's a lot of lots in Mississauga that might not have had the best grading, because I really didn't know what I was doing back then. But, I think that, for me, most of my life, I've sort of done whatever I wanted to do, whatever. I think I would struggle if it was the right situation where someone wasn't breathing down my neck, I guess I would maybe do okay. But if someone wanted to know where I was or what I was doing, or called me and was like, you can't do that, then that wouldn't be productive. So I guess I can't work for someone else. I don't know.
Anyways. I'd struggle with the same thing. I think most business owners would struggle with the same thing. Not having that autonomy.
I agree.
Yeah.
What's the next question, Mike? Don't erase it before we get to the end.
Plywood versus ground protection mats.
Ooh.
I use plywood. Have you guys invested into ground protection mats?
So on a job we did recently, we dug a pool for Tyler from Hallscape. He has ground protection mats, and we have plywood. So we have a mixture of, because he didn't have enough ground protection mats to get all the way to the backyard, and we have shit tons of plywood. And in the test of both of them, I found that the ground protection mats just warped the machine.
Really?
Like we ran, because where we ran the machine over the plywood, like the buggy.
Yeah.
There's videos of it on my Instagram. The plywood's flat. Where we ran over the ground protection mats, they just they still made ruts. Like, it was not as bad, but the ground protection mats just kind of warped to the buggy.
And I'm sure the hotter it is, the more that would happen, right?
Yeah. I think that if the ground protection mats were turned the 8-foot way and you were running down the center of them, as opposed to the 4-foot way, and you're only having maybe 2 or 3 inches on the sides, they worked. They definitely worked. And I think in the long term, they're probably a better investment, because they don't break down like plywood. But I don't know. I'm old. I like plywood. I don't like change.
We have I thought I was still muted. We had 20 of these things, and we lost one along the way. Somewhere, someone got a free ground protection mat from us. I like them. I make the guys do the barking for the ground protection mats, because I find they're heavy.
That line's getting a lot of use this episode.
This is the next limited edition, Not Our Finest Hour t-shirt.
Yeah. This is the title of the episode.
Let the dogs do the barking.
There it is.
Yeah. Whenever it's time to load the protection mats, I mean, we use the skid steer, whatever, but whenever it's time to lay them out on the lawn, that's someone's job. That's not me. But I like them. Well, my partner bought it. Like, whenever I bought my 20, he bought another 10 or something like that. And he's like, oh, I'm going to cut them in half. I'm like, that's a stupid idea. He said, no, it's a great idea. Then you can go twice as far. But he cut them in half the long way. So, so now they're long and skinny, like completely fucking useless. And he calls me out, he goes, those mats are useless. I said, yeah, but you cut them in half. Now it's just like bananaing in the yard every time you like, that was the worst idea you've ever had. I'm like, well, I would have had no problem buying them from you if you didn't cut them in half. So
how much were they?
I think they're $200 a piece. $225, something like that.
Sure, there's varying degrees of how good they are too.
Yeah.
Sure, there's cheaper versions and more expensive versions.
Bobcat had a system where it would like roll up and you could unroll them. It was like on a spool, like big roll sod or something like that, and you would unroll them and drive over them. Or maybe they did. Maybe that's someone else.
So on the topic of Bobcats, I was thinking about getting a bulldozer, right? I think we talked about that. But I started really thinking about it, and I was like, maybe if we just got like a crazy huge skid steer like the Minotaur. Or maybe the discussion of the Minotaur on this podcast inspired me to get a crazy huge skid steer. Because it's like, well, for some of the stuff we do in terms of like pushing fill out, it might be handy to be able to scoop it and move it and stuff. So I thought the biggest Bobcat you could buy was a T740 or a T76, and that's a big skid steer. But we were on our way to soccer, we drove by this construction site, and they had this thing called a T870. And this thing is the biggest skid steer I have. It has a 12-foot reach lift. You can like it's 12 feet high. It is the biggest skid steer I've ever fucking seen. So I started looking these things up because I was like, oh, so a 2022 T870 is like between $110 and $129,000.
I thought it would be more,
depending on how many hours are on it. This thing is huge. Like, it's outrageously large, like crazily large. Like I think it makes the Kubota 97 look small.
Wow.
It makes it look like an S70. Like I like 97s. I think they're great machines. I've run them. Anyways, this is just another interesting. I didn't even know this machine existed until I drove by it on a construction site. Luckily, someone hadn't slapped all their own company shit all over it, so I could read the fucking letters on the side and know what it was. No one had wrapped that thing.
Oh, those god awful wraps.
I'm just joking. I have a problem with wrapping. I just felt I could add that in so someone could get lit at me about something and send us a text.
Speaking of that,
removing the stickers, they're terrible to take off.
Are you saying that someone sent something lit about something I said?
No. I was just going through your Instagram trying to find the mats and plywood, and I happened upon a post titled "Small Wiener."
Oh, have you not seen that one before?
That's the first time seeing it.
Oh, that post got a lot of traction.
That's good.
And that's real live footage from 3 of the Tilt Rotator Kings on Instagram.
Nice. All right, next question here. I think we talked about the Mammoth, your final review of the Mammoth, right?
I don't know. I don't know if we did.
Okay, so somebody asked, love the show. Heard you mention the Mammoth mini skid on an episode I was listening to. Looking at buying one myself. Do one of you guys have one? If so, would you recommend?
So I used the Mammoth for a month. It was like a promotional thing. They gave me the Mammoth so that I could check it out. I really like the Mammoth. The only deterrent that anyone could come up with to the Mammoth is that it's 42 inches wide, not 36. So if you need to have 36-inch wide machine, then maybe the Mammoth's not for you. But I don't know. We used it for a month. We never found anywhere we couldn't get it in or couldn't.
Oh, it's 42-inch, not 36-inch, right?
It's 42, not 36. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so a lot of people didn't hate on it, but they were like, yeah, I gotta have 36. Like, oh, okay. I get it. Our buggy's 36. Totally get it. But I really liked the Mammoth. I thought it was I felt like it was a well-built machine, and I felt like it was a well-supported machine, which is what I think is the bigger problem sometimes with stuff that isn't a core brand, is who's supporting it and where you're getting parts for it. And I felt like the team at Mammoth has like a large parts warehouse and they're ready to support the machines, which I think is the most important part of buying the machine. Doesn't matter what color it is or what it says on it. If there's no support for it, you're going to fucking hate it.
I remember those Chinese excavators that I still have some of?
Yes.
Well, I was leaving the yard today and a truck pulls up and 2 guys hop out and I could see them from a distance. And then my phone rings and it's from Shawville, Quebec. And I remember selling Chinese excavator from someone in Shawville, Quebec. And so I said, oh, maybe I'm going out the back way today. I'm like, I don't want to get tied up into a conversation about how your machine's a piece of shit at fucking 5:30 at the end of my day. So I let the voicemail take it, as I do to everything. And they say, hey, we're the guys who bought the little gas excavator from you. It's like, we see you got a Bobcat here. How much is that? And so I drove to, like, I hung up the voicemail and drove to the front. I'm like, oh, 60 grand. Like, oh, that's a bit too much for us. But we love the excavator we bought from you. I'm like, really? Like, oh,
Interesting.
yeah. It's,
Bringing endorsement.
Yeah.
yeah. These
That
old
should
guys.
be your new
They're
business.
like, oh, it does exactly what we need it to do. And like, great, buy for 2 more of these fucking things.
You should give one
Yeah.
to me for a month.
Yeah.
I'll make some videos of it. We'll see what happens.
You should
What
start
does
your
that
own
give me?
equipment business.
No. I,
Cat Bob by
Cat Bob.
NDL.
Cat Bob. No.
All right. Next one here. What to do to prepare for heat waves? Do you guys have anything special to do when there's a heat wave?
Let the dogs do the barking. You stay in that truck. No, I'm kidding. Hydration. That's it. I bring out the cooler with all the drinks in it.
I think that's a fucking good idea.
Does the AC work in all your trucks, Mike?
Well, Brad addressed it in my truck, in my bin truck, and I would say it works 3/4 now, way better than it used to. The only one it doesn't seem to work on is in Cody's truck.
Oof.
But it's all there. It's some electrical problem. It's not moving the actuator. The actuator's not moving the direction to blow it out the vents. It's only blowing in the defrost or something. I don't know. Anyways, I finalized the deal on Cody's new old truck, so
Right on.
that one's going to go in for a restoration of all the little problems of it. So
you'll be running 3.
We'll be adding a third bin truck to the fleet and hoping that'll allow us to keep 2 on the road. Some days we hope it allows. It's 2015 and it has a spiff axle and
wow,
it has a 21-ton hook and it's a nice truck. Brad and I checked it out this week and it's a good truck. So we're gonna buy it and we're gonna add it to the fleet. And then in the spring I'd like to have some extra trucks for snow because we hire a lot of brokers for snow. So I'd like to have some extra trucks for snow. So it'd be nice to have 5 of our own to send out before we hire a broker, I guess. It'd be something that would be good. So I'm excited about it. I'm pumped, cranked up.
nice! Congratulations.
There you go. Thank you. So what was the actual question there?
I deleted it again.
Oh,
what do you do to prepare
for a
for a heat wave?
Heat wave.
So when we were working at the spa that shall not be mentioned, we had a guy and his name was Jeff Lee. And his job was to hand out freezies to everyone. And he was the freezy guy.
That sounds like a greeter at Walmart job.
Yeah.
The same type of person that would be a greeter would be the freezy giver.
Crazy guy? Yeah. He was a DJ. He was trying to make it as a DJ and make it in the music industry. One time he had a day off because he had to go drop some sick beats at his uncle's second wife's funeral.
Oh,
Interesting
DJ funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a gig.
Or something. Yeah. He was a good kid. He seemed like a nice kid.
I used to want to be a DJ.
He didn't survive. He was let go. So he was pretty good at giving out freezies, but past that he kind of and he missed a lot of days. He kind of trailed off. Like but he was good.
He only missed the cold days? Like, was he on point on the hot days? Or like
No, he missed a lot of days. He had a lot of like deaths in his family and different things that happened to him.
Was he DJing all the deaths?
Or trying to keep the business going?
He was also influenced by the guy who wasn't sure if he drank a warm protein drink.
Sounds like they're on.
They were, yeah. Also, the guy that got pink eye from eating his girlfriend's ass. So there was a lot. That guy got influenced a lot by him, so there's that. Yeah, so you never really know.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's the next question, Mike?
How do you guys feel about open book accounting?
I don't know what it is.
Just being transparent with your employees about profit margins, possibly doing some sort of bonus structure if you hit your time on jobs, things like that.
I'll tell them what a job costs, but
like the revenue,
also, like the total cost of the job.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, but you don't understand how much goes into it
right.
all the time, right? Like, if you think we're always in the green, we are, but to not necessarily what you think we're making on it, right? Like $100,000 job, they see, oh, you're making $100,000. Absolutely are not making $100,000.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing that money until the snow flies. So there's that. And you guys get to take home a paycheck every week, and I haven't been paid in 3 weeks. So, you know.
I feel like that creates the complex situation. Like, you might have your company may develop certain employees that I feel like doing that for every employee that works at the company, I feel like that's adding a lot of level of complexity to my day that I don't need. I already have, not necessarily employees, but I already have a vast amount of people giving me 2020 hindsight advice on my life daily. If I don't need that, like, to the level of like the books being open. Like, I don't know. I'm honest about with our whole staff about, hey, this is a tough year. I mean, obviously they know that. They're not fucking idiots. There's people painting shit in August in our yard. Like, they've all been around. They all know that it's not the fucking best year ever, but September's coming. I believe it's gonna. I mean, I'm honest with everybody about that. If we're having a good year, I'm honest that we're having a good year. Like, I don't. It's not necessarily. Anyways, I think that opening up I guess there's people that are probably crazily successful at that and are going to tell me I'm totally wrong, but I just feel like it overcomplicates the situation. What do you think, Mike?
We're open with everybody that works at the business with about our books.
Even the part-time firefighter?
Okay. All full-time employees.
There you go.
Did the part-time firefighter get profit sharing?
No.
Here's a quandary that happened to me this week. So I got a new cell phone, and I didn't realize that cell phones are Apple Pro Max, whatever, are hard to get. I didn't know that. I assumed there was just thousands of these things lying around because no one lines up. So the only phone I could get of the phone I wanted was a purple phone.
Nice.
Would you have taken a purple phone? Yes or no? It's a dark, rich purple, not a light purple. Dark, rich purple.
I would.
Would you have taken a purple phone?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Initially, I said no, but then after I thought about it, I was like, "What does this matter?"
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? I'll put a case on. It's like, yeah. Mike, why do you care about this? And then I was like, no, dude, just give me the purple one. Now it's kind of grown on me and I sort of like it.
Do you have it right now? Let's see it. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice purple. It was just interesting. My initial reaction was like, no, man, I gotta have a black phone. Or I usually have gold phones. Usually my phones are gold. Well, the Pro Paver King thing, it's image,
Branding.
I have very little branding. It's mostly chains and cigars. So, and gold phones. Next question, Mike.
I think that's it. The next question is there's plenty of questions within this question, and it's a good topic. It's a very left-hand turn from what we've been talking about. So I think we've hit our 2 hours here.
So you don't want to talk about this question?
Should we go through this?
Yeah.
All right,
All
we're
right.
all right.
Well, you did this like big fucking lead in. If you just said there's no more questions, we could have moved on.
Did we
Now
delete?
I'm
No.
interested in what it is.
Okay, it's about installation. So,
Oh, good God.
see, let's start with this one. What do you do when you're waiting for final payment and the client all of a sudden says the pavers are not even with each other? We want them even. And by not even, they are maybe 1 millimeter, 2 max off, and the paver manufacturer says it's within 3.
Like height tolerance or
Yeah,
like off?
difference between one to the next. Height tolerance.
So it's a smooth. I'm assuming it's a smooth finish paver,
I'd assume so.
right? And like
Um,
they're worried about a
this is,
1 mil.
this is
Worried
my
about 1 or 2.
well, my personal opinion on this is obviously you didn't roller pack the fuck out of your Palmer sand. If you had done 17 consolidations, this wouldn't have happened to you. And did you do a pre-compaction before you installed your sand? Because these are the things that I would ask about.
That's tough. The way I look sort of vetoes those clients for me, right? Like if they're gonna pick you apart over 1 mil or like, I don't know.
1-2
Generally, I don't have those
Nelson's
type of.
super fucking unreasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to see it, right?
We have in our contract the tolerance.
If it was me, I would. That's a good idea to put that in. You know, we use manufacturers' tolerances for just.
Yeah.
If it was me, I
That's
would
a
say to
great
them,
idea.
I can run this roller packer bitch over this one more time.
Even after
And
it's
that
activated.
it's within tolerances of the manufacturer.
Yeah.
I will run this roller packer over it one more time. Pay me my money. Never fucking call me again.
At least for not next for the 9 years, not for the
Well,
next 9 years.
call me up in 9 years. And why did you think this question would take so long to answer?
Well, there's many more to it.
I think
What
maybe
do
you could
think? What
try.
more is there to it?
There's just many questions in regards to installation still after this one.
Oh,
I just thought that this would be a good installation series of questions that we could go off of because we haven't been talking about installation this whole episode.
have we ever?
I guess, yeah. Well, polymeric sand comes up quite often.
Only from me. I have some kind of bee in my bonnet about it. The two of you don't seem to give a shit.
I put in 30 bags of it today and roller packed down the hill, and then we put the roller packer in the machine and drive it back up, and then roller pack it again and then drive it back up. There's no way. Like it was even hard holding the packer to let it go down the hill to pack this fucking mowing strip. So
you're right. The video doesn't show the hill.
The video doesn't do it justice. Like
your breathing level and heart rate do.
Yeah.
Did you hear it on? Yeah.
I heard it. I watched I saw one of those videos today, and I was like, "Wow, that sucks."
That sucks.
It's sad.
Brandini's legs were just monstrous by the end of the day, and he's a $1.5 soaking wet, and he had walked.
Did he get your Chinese excavator running?
The starter came in today. Actually, I got a phone call, so got to pick it up.
Is he gonna work his magic?
How much was the starter?
$250.
Oh my!
Wow.
Plus the 7 hours it took Brandini to get the old starter off because one of the screws was stripped.
Mm.
And he had to basically take the entire machine apart to get to where he could reach, to get a drill in there to get the starter off. So, I mean, it would have worked fine. Just you can hand crank the thing. It hand cranks on the second or third pull, but
I don't think that that's the experience that people buying that excavator want.
Well,
you can sell it as is, though.
You could sell it
as is. Yeah. Like that.
And take even more of a bath on it.
It's not a skid
steer. With your labor and the parts, are you going to be able to make up that cost?
No. I'll sell for what I have into it max after that fiasco.
looking at a skid steer today. It was like a 2022. It had 1,100 hours on it. It was $89,000, and in big letters it said "as is." Like, what the fuck?
What?
$89,000, and it's 2022 with a G of hours on it, and it says "as is" in huge letters. What are you talking about? Who would buy that?
What size skid steer is it? Like,
Bobcat T76.
oh, is that a big one? T
Yeah,
seven.
it's that size.
Yeah, that's the
It's
big
not,
one.
it's not an 870, but it was a
Oh.
T76. It was what I previously thought was the largest skid steer. That's why I was looking at them, and then this 870 came in. But like, who
Well, it
buys?
has less than 1,000 hours. It's only 60 grand.
Is that what they're selling for? I don't know.
No. New, they're probably. I think our Kubota taxes in was 96 or something.
So my 595 has 1,800 hours on it, I think. So you're
Twice
saying it's not doesn't have, well, mine has really sick though, 18-inch fucking the widest tracks you can put on it, so it looks really cool. I bought them particularly because I wanted them to look cool too. Man, those tracks are sick. I think they're an extra $1,000.
Wow.
They look wicked though. They're zigzag tracks for snow too.
Yeah, I got zigzags on my Kubota now.
Because we used to put it out for snow. So. What did you get your
Yeah.
SPL?
My SPL 75-3.
Yeah. You like it?
Yeah, for the minute that I sat in it. We haven't taken it out because we just got the Bobcat back from its last job. So the SPL will be going out Thursday to its first job. It's got it's got the screen there and it's touchpad and no key to it. So I think that'll be good.
Yeah, DPR has an SVL 75-3 that I used to load one of the. They were on lunch, and so I loaded the bin myself with it because I wanted to run it. I thought it was a nice machine, and I'm not a huge Kubota person, so
it's built for a wider person compared to the Bobcat. I feel
maybe that's why they like them. I'm a wide person.
Yeah, it's just your arms are further apart whenever you're controlling things. And the Bobcat, they're close together.
I struggle with I floated Hawkins SVL 90, which is an older machine. And I floated it this morning, and when I got in it, I can tell you that the older Kubotas have way better joysticks.
Really?
Yeah, they're small. They were so nice. It was a really nice machine. I was thinking to myself, I wonder if they're selling this thing. It's got like 5,000 hours on it. It'd be the perfect machine to go to like a dump and just push soil, right? Like, it'd be fucking great for that.
Perfect machine.
No, it would be. It's SVL 90. It's big. It's basically the original 97, right?
Yeah,
90, 95, 97. It's a really nice. The controls in it were so much nicer than the big control that Kubota uses now. But maybe it doesn't have as many functions on it or something. I don't. It was a really nice machine. I really liked it.
Well, let's better not put you in a tilt rotator control.
I used the flat deck thing today. It was awesome. Worked great.
Wow.
I haven't used it. I used it once to pick up some buggies from our job, but I haven't used it out there. So today we were out there with the flat decking.
Oh yeah, I saw that you loaded a skid steer. Is that
that was the 90? Yeah, it was nice.
The 90.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good. I like the SVL that 75-3 though. I thought it was nice.
Yeah,
and I think that provides a bit more security having a code on it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It seems like it would provide more security. Is that 2 hours, Mike?
Yeah, we're beyond 2 hours.
I thought we started at 6:45.
Did we? I thought we started at 6:30.
No, we never. 6:45.
We never.
We made it to 2. All right, so this is the end of the episode.